Monday. Happy Monday. This is Saniqua White just popping in for a few quick minutes to, of course, wish you a blessed week, but also to put something on your mind for the next week and maybe the next several weeks that I'm seeing some of you are having and struggling with anxiety. Not that there's not anything in the world going on to be anxious about. I totally understand that. But some of you are anxious for different reasons. And one of the reasons that I'm seeing right now is many of you seeing other people struggling, or what you think is their struggle, or they're telling you that they're struggling. You're wanting to help because you are a helper, which is not a bad thing. Where you are getting into trouble is that you are giving so much of your energy, so much of everything that is coming from you, and nothing is being returned to you. Nothing is being reciprocated. And so you are wearing yourselves out because you are giving, 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 and you're never allowing yourself to be refueled. So this isn't about reciprocity necessarily. It's not that you're going to do something for someone so that they can do something back for you. It's not quite that. What I'm saying is you're not allowing yourself to refuel. You're constantly helping sometimes the same people over and over again to where you have become their number one, meaning not their number one in their not your their number one in their life, meaning you're the first point of contact when they can't figure something out, when they don't have enough resources, when something goes wrong, you're the first person they call. They don't even try to figure it out. They don't even try to problem solve. They don't even try to make better decisions because they know that you're going to come to the rescue. You've been doing it for years for the same people. And sometimes it is different people because you just have a helpful nature, and that is not the bad thing. The thing that is causing you problems is that you are not allowing yourself to be replenished. And you're probably not going to be looking for the replenishment to come from the people that you're helping, but you're not replenishing yourself either. You're not taking good care of yourself either. So, how long do you think that that will last? You're trying to push yourself. You're trying to do everything you can to keep other people going, but you're hurting yourself. Let's just make it plain. You're actually hurting yourself. You're giving so much that you're hurting yourself. You're not doing your own self care. You're not taking care of your own needs. You're in need. And instead of taking care of your needs so that you can give from your abundance, you're going without so that you can help someone else who probably could help themselves if they tried, if they wanted to, if you weren't always coming to the rescue. So, again, I'm seeing a lot of people carrying anxiety because you are running yourselves ragged for other people and you're not taking care of yourself. Listen, you have to take care of yourself. It's not a bad thing to take care of other people. It is a bad thing to not take care of yourself, to not get what you need, to not be replenished and refueled, and to get the rest that you need. You are seeing not only the anxiety, but you're also seeing that your body is breaking down. Why? One of the reasons is that you're not resting. And so if you don't get enough rest, you're running on fumes anyway. And then you're giving what little bit of fuel you have left to other people instead of giving it to yourself. And I know this, what I'm saying to you, might sound like you're being selfish if you don't help other people. But there should come a point in your life that you have to say, even if I think it's selfish, even if other people think it's selfish, I have to take care of myself. I cannot continue to let my body break down, my mind break down, all the other parts of my life break down. And for those of you who are followers of Christ, you also have to remember that these people have God in their lives. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But you cannot hold yourself responsible for what God is responsible for. Some of you are trying to be God in other people's lives, and that is not your responsibility. You cannot do the work that only God can do for these people. Sometimes they need a change of heart. Sometimes they need a change of mind. Sometimes they need to understand how to get up and make the decisions for yourself. Have you ever thought about, if you're doing all of this running, if you're helping them figure out everything, haven't you ever thought that they could also learn what you've learned? So for some of you, it's time to be the teacher and not the doer. You've been doing everything for a group of people or certain people, or maybe just anybody who asks you. You've been doing instead of teaching. You've been fishing for them and feeding them instead of teaching them how to fish so that they can learn and fend for themselves. It's not that any of us or any of them will never need any help again. That is not what I'm saying. We're supposed to help people. Those of us who have special gifts in certain areas, we're supposed to use those gifts for other people. Absolutely. But you cannot wear yourself out for the cause. You have to get some rest. You have to get some nourishment and replenishment for yourself. If you are in anxiety, walking around in anxiety. You go to bed worried about people. You wake up worried about people. You go all day trying to do your job or do the things that you're supposed to do to take care of your life, but you're worried about someone else. That is not how you're supposed to live. And especially if you're a follower of Christ, that is not the life that God wants you to have. He said, be anxious for nothing, right? And so if you're anxious, you have to take a step back and pause and give yourself an opportunity to refresh, replenish, restore for yourself. Get the things that you need so that when you come back to a place of being able to give out again, you're giving from abundance and not a place of deficit. Because if you're giving from a place of deficit, you are going to cause yourself problems. And that is what I'm already noticing with a lot of people, is that you are walking around physically ill, emotionally ill, because you will not stop and take care of yourself. Now, I am putting that onus on you because I am telling you that that is what's happening. What I'm looking for is for you to be able to stop and say, okay, am I the one she's talking about? Am I doing so much for other people that I am neglecting myself? If the answer is yes, then you can simply stop. Put a pause on all the things that you're doing that are not necessary and give yourself an opportunity to replenish so that when you go back to some of the things that you were doing, not all of the things, okay? When you go back to some of the things that you were doing in your ways of giving, you are operating from abundance and not lack, not deficit, okay? You can keep yourself out of a place of deficit if you would just pause and rest. And that, for those of you who are followers of Christ, again, that is the place of abundance that you're supposed to be operating from, not a place of deficit. We're always supposed to give. We're always supposed to help others. We're always supposed to sow seed into others. But there comes a point where you have done so much for others and nothing for yourself that it's evident in your life that you're hurting, and you can't expect the people that you've been helping to help you because what you've taught them is that you don't need any help. You will just go and go and go and go until you hurt yourself. And remember, people who are takers, they will keep taking despite your giving. They might see you tired. They might see you frustrated. They might see you hurting, but as long as you will continue to give, they will continue to take. So as a giver, if I'm talking to you, you have to intentionally take your pause. The things that you are giving to other people, you now need to give to yourself. And that doesn't take a long time. You just need to replenish. Why walk around with anxiety or your body failing to help other people who are now dependent on you and are not learning to do anything for themselves? Because if you take yourself out, if you leave this earth prematurely because you're not taking care of yourself, what will they do then? Guess what? They'll probably survive. They'll probably outlive you. because they're being taken care of and you're not. Okay, so that might be a hard lesson or a hard thing for some of you to hear, but I want you to be self reflective on this. If you are that person who is continually taking care of other people without taking care of yourself, meaning basically you're neglecting your own needs, you're not caring for yourself in order to care for other people, I want you to pause and just take some time to think about where that's going to land you. Because if you can't help anymore, you can't help them. If you can't get out of bed, you can't help anybody, not even yourself. So do not allow yourself to get to that place because you're already struggling. You're already dealing with the anxiety. Some of you are already dealing with depression, not only because we're moving into the holiday season, but because you won't rest. You won't help yourself because you think you're only supposed to help other people. I'm telling you to pause, reflect. If that is you, stop. Give yourself what you need so that you can get back to what you know you want to do and need to do, but out of abundance and not from a place of a deficit. Okay. If I have been talking to you, make sure that you get help. You don't have to try to figure this out alone like you've been doing. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to go to therapy or coaching or anything from a professional. You just may need accountability. You may need to tell your spouse or your best friend or whoever that you need to rest and you need for them to hold you accountable to that. So the minute that somebody rings your phone or texts you and says that they need something, your friend or whoever is your accountability person can tell you no, you don't need to do that. Or maybe they're the voice of reason and saying, yeah, this time it might be like an emergency or whatever. Somebody to help you reason out, but more so to help you rest and to be accountable to you or for you so that you can get that rest. Okay. Well, that is all I wanted to talk to you guys about. I hope you have a blessed week. If God says the same, I'll be back next week with more. But until then, be proactive about your mental health. Be well, and God bless.